Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. For today's video, I have compiled a list of some awesome moments in football, which I'll be sharing with you, which are my personal favourites. There's some in there that are just amazing games and amazing moments, and then there's others which are more personal to me. There's two that's personal to me. I say personal, it's not like it's a really personal thing, but it's just because they're my favourites. Basically, I've just done it completely random. Whichever one I thought of, I just wrote down. So I've got it typed up on my computer, so if you see me looking this way, that's because I'm looking at the list. So to start off with, we'll start off with a funny one. So back in 2014, there was Liverpool were looking like winning the league title now. I know a lot of people are going to know exactly where I'm going with this one. I remember them coming to Carrow Road and absolutely hammering Norwich. That was, I think they hammered them anyway. They usually did. So they ended up having... So one of their players, their captain, Steven Gerrard, said after the Norwich game. Now this one's in mostly for the irony of it. He said that after the game he gathered all the players around. I'll see if I can find a clip of it somewhere. And he said, "We do not let this slip." Now, the next game after that, bear in mind they were top of the league at this point. They were well on their way. This was in April, and the season ends in May. They were top by I think 4 points at the time, and then the next game they go to, I think it was Crystal Palace away, and they were 3-0 up, and then Crystal Palace came back to 3-3.
The Murray kommer hållsnatta. Vad gör Bolassi? Han finner Gale! Skotten. Murray, den är fräck och här är Gale!
Now at that point, I think they had just fallen off the top of the table at this point. I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly how it worked out. But by the end of the next game, they'd pretty much gifted the title. I think it was to Man City. I'll have to look that one up. And they basically gifted the title to Manchester City because the exact same player who said, "We do not let this slip," Steven Gerrard, slipped against Chelsea, gifted Demba Ba the ball, and Demba Ba slotted in. So the irony of the fact that he said, "We do not let this slip," and then his slip cost them the title, that's got to be in the list somewhere. So for the next one, I've gone with the Leicester City winning the Premier League title. Now this one is in purely because it doesn't happen very often. The last unlikely team to win the league title was Blackburn before that one. I mean, obviously you had teams emerging, so you have like Manchester City have emerged as major contenders, but for the most part they were kind of expected to be competing. Whereas Leicester had just brought in Sven-Göran Eriksson as manager. The season before, they barely survived. And then they go into the 2015-16 season, where their main hope was just to push up the table a bit and not be in a relegation battle. And obviously, they went on, they had a very good start, and I remember from the beginning of that season, everybody was like, "Can Leicester do it?" And nobody thought that they actually would. It was early in the season, everybody thought that they would just run out of steam. But no, they didn't, and they just went on this incredible run throughout all the season, and they were just very consistent throughout the season. And it was honestly one of the best. They played some of the best football I think I've ever seen that season. Especially for an underdog. It gives teams like Norwich hope, but I don't think Norwich will do that anytime soon. So the next one I've got is Germany 7, Brazil 1, World Cup 2014. So Brazil were hosting the World Cup that year, and Brazil had pretty much walked to the semi-finals. Bear in mind, this was in the semi-finals. They go into the game with no Thiago Silva, who I believe was their captain, and no Neymar, who was their big player going forward. So you're thinking, okay, they're a bit weaker, they're going to lose. But nobody expected it to finish 7-1 to Germany. Like, Germany had players like, I think they had Toni Kroos playing that day, they had Thomas Müller, I was about to say Robert Lewandowski, but he's Polish. But they just had the most incredible team. And they did go on to win it that year. But the thing which people wasn't expecting was, I mean, it was 4-0 after like half an hour, I think. So that was incredibly unexpected. But it happened, and the best part about it is the fact that it was in Brazil. So the hosts got absolutely hammered in the semi-final. Not very often that happens. So next up, I have Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United career. He joined Manchester United in 1986, and he was there for 27 years. Yeah, 27 years. And in that time, he won, I think, 13 Premier League trophies and several Champions Leagues. I will have a look at the stats and I will put it in here somewhere. It was just the most incredible achievements. To last that long in a job, 27 years, is unheard of. The closest still is, well, he's not at the job anymore. Arsene Wenger at Arsenal lasted 20 years, and then Arsenal fans got what they wanted and got sacked. That's another thing I did forget to write about. Arsenal fans. I'll mention that one in a minute. But in his career, I probably should have looked up the stats beforehand. He's won so many big trophies, and honestly, I feel like he's going to go down as the greatest manager in history. He did the job at several Scottish clubs as well. He ended up at Aberdeen, where he won the SPL, or what's now known as the SPL, before joining Manchester United. And he nearly got sacked as well. I think it was in 1989. He was very close to getting sacked, and then they won the cup, and then from there they just went on. And he's managed some of the best players. Ryan Giggs, well, just all of the class of '92. You know, you got Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Gary Neville. He's managed Rio Ferdinand. He's managed Cristiano Ronaldo, who's the greatest player in the world right now. So he's managed some incredible players. I'm trying to think of who else he's managed over the years. And then obviously you have the likes of Nani and Welbeck and, you know, some poor players, but even still, even with the players that nowadays are very average, he's made, well, they're not necessarily Premiership winning quality players. In his day, Sir Alex Ferguson managed to turn them into a title winning side. You look at, ever since he left, players like Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, who looked dominant in their day under Sir Alex Ferguson, nowadays don't look so solid. And I think that just shows the effect that a good manager can have. You look at what Jose Mourinho is getting out of the players, nothing compared to what Sir Alex Ferguson got season in, season out of the Manchester United players. So the next one I have, that's before I go on to that one, the next one is Arsenal Fan TV. Just one of the many joys of football. I couldn't not mention them in this list. Arsenal Fan TV. I'm trying to put into words how much joy it brings me when Arsenal lose, or when Arsenal lost, and Arsene Wenger would get, like, there would be so many people ranting, and it's always the same people on, and it's always the exact same. I will put a link to their channel, but it's brilliant. It's the the one thing I look forward to at a weekend, the one thing, even when Norwich lose, if Arsenal lose, it's Arsenal Fan TV. They have some of the most entertaining fans you will find anywhere. And that's a fact. Because the people who's on there, their rants are they're a very creative bunch. I will happily sit and watch all their videos when Arsenal lose. It's just brilliant. So the next one, Liverpool versus Middlesbrough penalty shootout from 2015. So it was in, I think, what's it called now? Carabao Cup. It's the League Cup. It's the one, the lesser of the two, obviously. Everybody wants the FA Cup, but the Carabao Cup goes overlooked. Mostly just because it changes its name every year as well. That doesn't help. And basically, this was in 2015, as I've said. Liverpool versus Middlesbrough. I think it finished. I think I said it. I read it finished 2-2 after extra time. I think it was 1-1 after normal time, 2-2 after extra time. And normally penalty shootouts finish 4-2 or 4-3 or something. This one finished 14-13 to Liverpool, not to Middlesbrough. Sorry, Middlesbrough fans, you didn't quite win that one. So Liverpool. So you went through the normal five. Patrick Bamford missed the first for Middlesbrough. I think it said Raheem Sterling missed Liverpool's fifth, and then from there was 20 penalties scored in a row. Now that's an incredible feat it even went round to the goalkeepers, and even the goalkeepers scored. That's how good that penalty shootout was. And I remember sitting watching it on Sky Sports News, and every time, because sometimes they'll show the shootouts, and every time it was just like, oh well, they're gonna score, and in the end, Albert Adoma, I think it was, missed. Simon Mignolet saved it. That's an incredible penalty shootout. Apparently it has been done before though in the FA Trophy, but that's kind of lower league, so it's non-league, so people don't really tend to know about that one. But that's the one which stands out to me, where I was like, this is an amazing penalty shootout. If there was ever a penalty shootout I wouldn't want to be at involving my team, it was that one. Just simply because my nerves would have been... well, I suppose after a while you're kind of just like, oh, he's going to score. But my nerves would have been gone if that was involving Norwich or England. It just would have been gone. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm probably going to end up splitting this into 2 parts, because I've been recording for half an hour, so I'll probably split it into like a 15 minutes and a 15 minutes. So yeah, I will link all my social medias in the description down below. Please feel free to go and follow me on all them. While you're here, subscribe if you're new, and even if you've watched a video before but you just haven't subscribed, subscribe if you want to see more. I feel like I'm getting there. I'm making progress with YouTube, so with the confidence anyway. I've thought of some ideas of what I want to do, but I need to buy stuff first, so yeah. And yeah, also feel free to go and subscribe to my gaming channel. I'm probably going to switch up what series I'm doing, because I'm not really enjoying them that much. And yeah, until next time, I will see you then.